This video will look at how to create a responsive navigation bar using HTML and CSS. So what we have is a HTML page that is linked to an external style sheet called style.css. And this style sheet is sitting in the same location in the same folder as the HTML page. So what we basically have is an empty page, but it's got a navigation bar, as you can see on the top. It's dark purple and the body is light purple. So what we want to do is, if we've got a smaller screen, we want that navigation bar to sort of be responsive in the sense that we'd like it to display better on a smaller screen. So let's see how we can look at that. So if I actually right click and click on inspect, and then from here I can actually choose to see what the site looks like on a, say, an iPhone. So this is what it kind of looks like. It looks zoomed out. So what I'd like to have a better responsive page so that the user doesn't struggle to find the menu. So let's see how we can go about that. Let's first go really quickly over what we have in our HTML page. So we've started off by declaring the document as HTML, as a HTML5 document, and we've set the language to English. Now, in the head section, we provided some information about the document, such as the character encoding. We've specified that it's a UTF-8. We've also added a title, which says responsive navigation bar, which we can see in the browsers tab. And we've also linked this to an external style sheet, like we said, it's called style.css. That takes care of styling the document. So if I get rid of this document, this style sheet, you can actually see that the page is pretty much looking very plain. The bullets or the listed items have bullets. We've got an underline under the links, and it's not positioned in the way that we'd like it to. So I'll explain the style sheet in a second. And then we've also got the body section where the content of the page is happening or is going. So we've got a navbar, and this navbar is assigned a class called navbar. We'll have a look at what this style is doing. We then created a div for the class, the div for the logo, to place the logo, which is also associated or assigned a class. And it's the logo of our website is called My Website, basically just a sample logo. And then what we have is we created an unordered list using the UL element. And we've also assigned a class called navlinks to contain those links and to style them. And then for each listed item, we have an anchor tag. And this is meant to make these pages, sorry, these listed items link to pages, but at the moment, they're not really going anywhere. So I've just put a hash as a placeholder that will then be replaced by an actual page. And then basically we've closed all the HTML tags and we've ended the document structure. Now for the CSS, let's have a look at what's happening in the CSS. We've got a star, which means that we've targeted all elements on the page to have a zero margin, a zero padding. And we've also made sure that the padding and the border are included in the element's total width and height. So as you can see, we've actually so if I just show you what it looks like without, you can see that the navigation bar looks like it's in its own box. So we've got spacing going on there. So let's undo, save and refresh. So now it looks like more of a nav bar that's sort of stuck to the page. Now the body, we've got the Arial CSS font for the text, and then the setback or a fallback sans serif, and the background color is light purple, as we can see here. Now for the navbar, for this navbar, we can see that it's got a purple color and a padding of 10 pixels and 20 pixels. So that's 10 pixels from the top and the bottom and 20 pixels from the left and the right. So left and the right. And what we also aligned all items in the center, so they're vertically centered in the navbar, and justify content space between. So we spaced out the logo and the navigation links evenly, and the display is flex, so that we get to align items horizontally. So that's for the navbar. let's have a look at how the logo is styled. This logo here, we can see that the color is white, the font size is 24 pix, and the font weight is bold. And for the nav links, these are the nav links basically. So we can actually come here, and that's the unordered list. So what we've got for the nav links is the list style is none and the display is flex. So the display means flex. So the links are horizontally displayed using flexbox, and the list style is none. So if I actually get rid of that, you can actually see the bullet items, which we don't want. So that's for the nav links. Let's have a look at the listed items that are in the nav link. So we style each listed item that's sitting in the nav links. What they have is a margin of 20. So basically what we have is a spacing of 20 pixels to the left of each link. Okay. Now for the styling the links themselves. So, the anchor tags, basically, those tags. We've set the color to white, and text decoration is none, so that gets rid of the underline. So if I actually remove that part, so I'll undo because we don't want that underline. And we've also set the font size to 18 pixels. So that's pretty much what we have for now. So what we want to do is to come back to what we want is to create a responsive navigation bar using HTML and CSS. What we want is when we have a smaller size screen, we want the menu to look like this burger menu that we see in the Mozilla tab, right? To show that there's more here. So that's what we want. So let's go and within the nav bar itself, we want to create another div. And I'll assign a class to that div. Yeah. Let's give it a class called, let's call it burger. And what we want is a div element in each one that's called class. And what we want is to draw a line like this. So we want 3 lines. Let's do 1 line for now, and then we'll see what that looks like. So that it makes more sense. Let's close off that div. And then we've got our nav. So here what we did is we created a div with class burger, which is going to represent basically the burger menu icon, like we're building something like that. And the align div over here pretty much represents the line of the burger menu icon. Ideally we want 3, but for now, let's just see what it looks like with 1. So let's style it. Let's style our burger class first, and then we'll style the line. So for the burger, now I'll show you what I mean. For display, let's put block, let's make it show. And maybe for pointing to it, we'd like the cursor to change to pointer. Let's see what that looks like. Let's save this one. All right. Since nothing is, okay, so now the burger is not appearing, but we need to draw, we don't have any content in there. So let's draw the line. Now for the line, so anything that's sitting under burger.line. So basically each line of the burger icon, that's what we're trying to say. We'd like the width to be 25 pixels. So let's see what that looks like. Nothing yet. Let's add a background color. Oh, I always make that mistake. More mistakes. Bear with me. I'll get there. Not showing yet. What else do we do? Let's do a height of 3 pixels for now. Oh, there we got the first line. And then now let's add a margin to it of 5 pixels. So here what we do is we add, actually that's probably not going to show yet. Let me draw the other lines first. Let's just see what it goes without an, let's do 2 more lines. So it's looking pretty bad because we don't have any spaces. That's when we want to add that margin. So that gives us the spaces between them. So let's have a look at what we did. At this point, we have, and the cursor. So we can see that now it's turning into a pointer. Okay, so probably a bit more like visual for the user. And then we've styled each line such that we set the width to 25 pixels for the line, and for the height, we've added 3 pixels. We set a background color to it of white. And yeah, you can always change the colors like you can do. Maybe the theme could also be the light purple. So maybe we can try that. That goes for both the logo and the line, the links. And let's see. I think I've added too many semicolons there. So kind of, yeah, I don't know if that's visually any better, but I'm just showing how you can play around with the colors. All right, so, but what we don't want the menu to show. We only want we want this to hide when it's on a smaller screen and this to show. And on a larger screen, we want this to hide and this menu to show. So I hope that makes sense. At this point, they're both showing. So when it's a smaller screen, we want this part to show. When it's on a larger screen, we want this part to show and for this to hide. So at the moment, we've got them all showing. So I'm going to change the display to none. So in the normal view, we like the burger not to show, so it's not showing. But now what we want to do is we want to make it responsive such that on any screen devices that the width is less than 768, which is basically a mobile device. So let's define a media query. So for the max width for this to show is 768. Sorry, I pressed on the wrong one. 768 pixels. So anything less than this will activate whatever we're going to define inside. Okay. So for the max width, the burger will for the max width of 768. Now the burger or the lines will show up. Okay. So how do we do that? Basically, we'll say that we want to hide the nav links. So we'll change the display to none. So now when I refresh, so when it's larger than 768, they show up. When it's less, they hide. And that's what we want. But now we want the burger to display. So let's do that. The burger display is equal to, now we return that to block when I spell it correctly. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. So now we have a burger, the burger menu, and then in normal cases. So now our website is responsive. But let's have a look at what this really looks like on a mobile phone. So if we go to inspect and then head all the way to the responsive design mode, click on it, and then you can actually choose what device you'd like this to be on. So let's just see, I can pick from the menu, whatever. So this is fine, but you can look at displaying this on an iPhone 11. You can see that the page pretty much looks zoomed in, right? Or is it zoomed out? Sorry, zoomed out. And the burger is not really showing. So there's something missing in so we added a media query, but there's one more thing that we need to add here. We need to add information. Right, let's put it in here. So here what we say is we will add this line, the viewport. So here we specify here we specify that the meta tag is controlling the viewport settings. The content width is equal to device minus width. Hope I got it right. And of an initial scale is equal to 1.0. So let's just see. So now we got it looking like exactly what we wanted it to. So it looks pretty neat. You can also look at see. So the iPad is a bit of a wider screen, so it looks as expected on an iPad. On an iPhone 12 to 13, yeah, and so on. So now we know that it's responsive on the mobile phone. And so why was this line important? So basically here for the content, for the width is equal to device minus width, we set the width of the viewport to the width of the device screen. So basically I'm just making sure that the page is rendered correctly on different screen sizes. And we're specifically looking at the mobile phone. And here we set the initial zoom level of the web page to 1, meaning the page will be displayed at its actual size without any zoom. So that's pretty much it. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I'll see you in the next ones. Thank you for watching.